They're just lazy. You know, it doesn't matter enough to them to put in the work to get there, right? It just sounds good.
Clear out the room, I'm coming through. They wanna see what I'm about. Yeah, I got skills, do it for the thrill. I'm on a paper route. Extra, read about it. I'm today's trending topic.
You know what I'm saying? And that goes into the point, right? Because when you try out for a team or you try out for a sports team, what happens? During tryouts, you do a lot of running. And they're not running just to make you run. They're running you guys like crazy because they want to weed out people. They want to see who really wants it and who just kind of wants it. Like I said in the last story, I tried out for the basketball team my freshman year, and I remember they ran us like crazy. And then they let us go get a drink of water real quick. And at that drink of water, I saw people walking out the door. When we're going for that goal, we're going for that dream, we're going for those things that we want, and that adversity hits. Are you able to have the ability to push past that fatigue, to push past that adversity? And I feel like that's the difference between the dreamer and the visionary. Man, YouTube, what is good? Today we are back with another tutorial, and to start off this cut, we're gonna go ahead and pick out the client's hair. Just trying to get it, you know, all elevated off of the scalp. And right here, I'm just sectioning off a portion of his hairline, and then I'm gonna insert some clips just to keep it, you know, nice and sectioned off. And now we're gonna start off with the neck taper. Now with the neck taper, I want to keep it fairly low, so I'm just setting in my guideline here, and now I'm gonna go ahead and bald everything out. You want to make sure that you're letting the weight of the trimmer do the work so you don't cause too much irritation. And now for the taper on the side, I'm gonna make my guidelines from where the ear connects to the head all the way to where, you know, the eyebrow ends, and I'm gonna give it a nice round shape just so we can have that burst effect on the taper. And now I'm gonna hit the bottom of that baldness, whatever you want to call it, with the shaver just to get it a little bit closer to the skin and add some pop to the taper. And now we're gonna go ahead and get into the neck taper. We're gonna go with our clipper all the way open, and we're gonna go up about a thumb's width here, about a full inch. And we're just gonna make sure that this guideline is even and consistent with the bald line that we created. And now to get rid of that line in between the bald and the open, I'm gonna go ahead and come in with my lever closed and then gradually open that lever as I move up in that guideline. And you want to stay real patient with this process. Just go ahead and detail any dark spots that you didn't get the first time through. And now we're gonna follow that clipper open with our one guard all the way open. And again, we're going up about a thumb's width here. And you want to make sure that you're just continually brushing as well, especially with the curly hair texture, because when you cut against the grain of curly hair, it kind of stays up there, so you want to brush it back down to its natural position. And now we're using our two guard all the way open, and we're not really trying to create a guideline here. I'm really flaring out and coming off the shape of his head to go ahead and blend into that length. And now right under that, I'm coming in with my 1.5 open, and then I'll gradually close that lever as needed until that line is completely blended out. And you'll see me just continue to attack that line, trying to get it, you know, as blended out as possible. So I'm using the corner of that 1.5 here. I'm going to go ahead and comb or brush the hair back down into place. And we're just going to continue to detail. And you can see how it's already starting to come together. And now to go ahead and get rid of this last line in the neck taper, I'm going to come in with my half guard open. And then we'll gradually go ahead and close that lever until we get rid of that last line. And you see me you know, towards the nape lineup area, I'm going kind of inwards with it, and I'm just going sideways, trying to cut against the grain and really make sure that I'm getting rid of all those dark indentations or dark spots in the taper. So I'm going, you know, sideways. I'm using the corner of the blade right here with no guard on. And you can see how that neck taper really came together. And now I'm just freehanding, trying to create that shape. And now we're gonna go ahead and get into the side taper. So right here, I'm coming in with my lever all the way open on my Wahl magic clips. And we're going up about a thumb's width here, keeping that same wide shape that we created with the trimmer. And now I'm going to come in close and gradually open that lever as we move up in this guideline. And you can already see in the arch area of his taper that it's not very round. So we are going to have to get slightly cosmetic with it. But I want to go ahead and make sure that as I do this taper, I'm keeping that area dark. So right here, I'm coming in with my one guard again, keeping that same shape with that taper, trying to giving it that burst effect. And you'll see me just go sideways here, trying to go against the grain as much as possible. And now I went ahead and closed that one guard just to go ahead and lighten up that line in between the clipper open and the one guard open. It's not going to get rid of it fully, so I came in with my half guard open, and I'm going to gradually go ahead and close that lever. And when taking out a line, I always start open and then I'll move my way down to closed. And reason being is because you can always take hair off, but you can't put it back on, you feel me? And now to get into the next step, I'm coming in with my two guard all the way open. And I'm not really trying to create a guideline here. I'm trying to just debulk and blend into that length on the sides as best as possible. But you'll see as I go against it, it kind of tends to bunch all the hair up. So I'll come in with my comb and just comb it or brush it back down. And right here, I'm going with the grain just to smooth it out and get it to lay down a little bit nicer. And now I'm going to come in with my 1.5 open. And as you guys can guess, I'll go ahead and close that lever gradually as needed. And I'm just really trying to detail this taper and get rid of all those, you know, dark spots, and try to get this taper as fluid and consistent as possible. So you'll see me constantly just comb the hair into place and just attack those dark spots. And now to go ahead and smooth everything out and blend into that, you know, length on the sides, I'm going to come in with my thinning shears. And the reason I like to use the thinning shears is because it's going to get rid of all those, you know, bulky spots that are kind of really dark, and you know, smooth it out. So that's what I did with the thinning shears there. And now to blend into the beard, I went in clipper open and then one guard open, and that pretty much blended into the beard. It's just a reverse taper essentially. And now to get into the taper on the other side, we're going to follow the same exact steps. We went in with our bald line, which I didn't get on video, or the clipper open. So right now we just went straight to the one guard open because we already did those steps, but you guys seen them on the other side, so it should be no problem. But this is the one guard open, and we're staying real consistent here, following the same process, the same steps as we've been attacking, you know, the other tapers with, as far as on the side and on the neck. We're just gonna apply that to this side as well. And then this is the two guard, and I'm going to go ahead and smooth everything out, going down with the grain. Just trying to get it to lay down a little bit nicer. And now I'm coming in with my 1.5 open, and then I'm going to go ahead and close it. Now we're just staying real patient, real consistent here. And you can already see, even, you know, towards the bottom of the taper where the hair is a lot shorter, you can see how his hair is growing in many different directions. It's growing towards his ear, it's growing upwards, it's growing towards his eyebrow. So I'm being very conscious of that and trying to cut against the grain in every way possible. So I'm really using the corner of the blade here, just paying attention to the hair growth pattern. And I ended up making the taper a little bit too low to where it didn't match up with the side, so that's why I'm repeating some of the same steps here. because I had to go ahead and raise it up a little bit higher. So we went back to our 2 guard, and now this is the 1.5 once again. And it's coming together very nicely, but we're staying real patient here, just trying to get it, you know, the best that we possibly can. And again, I'm coming in with my thinning shears here and just attacking those bulky areas, trying to smooth everything out. And the thinning shears, what it's going to do is just remove bulk. It's not removing length, so it's going to keep the same shade of darkness at the top of that taper that we want. And now to go ahead and start lining up the nape area, I want to taper it down first with my 1.5 with the grain, and that's going to give me that same shade of darkness so it doesn't look disconnected from the top, but it's going to smooth all those little hairs that hang over the nape area down. Now when lining up the nape area, I always like to start at the top of the ear and then work my way to the bottom. And reason being is because that's going to prevent me from taking up that round area at the top of his ear from going up too high. So I'd rather start there and work my way back, trying to keep this line as natural as possible, but while getting, you know, that nice round shape and keeping it as crispy as possible as well. And now we're gonna go ahead and do the same thing on this opposite side. I already went with the grain on the nape area to smooth it down, and now we're just lining up the nape area, bringing everything together. And you can see when you put the line up on the taper, it kind of like makes the taper pop and makes you realize areas that you need to go back in detail. And now to get into the front lineup, we're gonna start in the middle of his hairline and we're gonna move towards, I believe, his right side first, if I'm not mistaken. But we're trying to stay real consistent here, making sure that we're being patient. So we're gonna move towards the left side first, and we're just trying to keep it as natural as possible while getting it as straight as possible as well. And like I said at the beginning, his arch area isn't very dense or doesn't have really a shape to it, but he wants hooks, so we have to get a little bit cosmetic here. So we started at the top of the arch, went to the bottom and connected it in the middle, and now we're gonna go ahead and create the box area. And when I originally started cutting this client, I suggested a high taper just for that reason, because his arch area isn't very prominent. I suggested a high taper so we could avoid the area, you know, initially, but he expressed that he liked the lower taper because it keeps the area at the top of the taper fuller. So I was like, all right, bet. So we're just doing what the client wants here, and I still think it's a good look, but that's why the box area is so small. And now we're gonna go ahead and apply some enhancement. So before we apply the enhancement, I want to brush back all those hairs because we want to make sure that we're getting his color on the skin. And now I'm gonna spray the color directly where I lined it up, and this is just gonna darken up the area and really make the lineup pop. And you'll see after I'm done applying the enhancement, I'm gonna go ahead and comb the hairs back over that color. And the hair is kind of going to protect the color from any water or anything that would cause that to come off very easily. Because if we didn't brush those hairs back, essentially all we're doing is just spraying the hair color on you know the hair on top, which is very easy to wipe off. So you want to make sure that you're spraying it on the skin, which is why I brushed back the hairs in the first place. And now we're going to comb it back down, and it's going to make the hairline look so much fuller, so much sharper. Now we're going to go ahead and hit the line up once again. And now we're going to go ahead and take the clips out, put the hair back down. And the client likes a tapered hairline just because he feels like it lasts a little bit longer, it's a little bit neater. But you know, it's all about preference. I could have lined it up in its natural state, but he likes that tapered hairline. And now we're going to just go ahead and line up the beard. So I started off by lining up the area by his beard, and then we went to the bottom. And now when lining up the top of the beard, I always like to start at you know, the bottom of the beard and then go to the top, which I'm doing right here, and then connect it in the middle. And what is that is going to allow me to do is make sure that I get that nice round shape on the beard without digging into it too much. And I got rid of all those hairs on the cheek area with the trimmer and shaver just because I don't want to cause any irritation on his skin. Now we're just going to go ahead and attack the mustache. And as you can see, that taper really came together really fire. And now to go ahead and clean up his hairline, I'm coming in with the razor here, just trying to get rid of all those hairs that the trimmer could not quite get. And now I'm gonna go ahead and freehand the top of his hair. He wanted some length taken off, but it's nothing crazy. This is more so just trying to get you know, his fro some shape. So I'm just trying to get it, you know, as nice and as clean as possible. And he likes that round shape. And now to get rid of all those hairs that, you know, would have been stuck in the hair from the freehand, I'm gonna go ahead and wash it. I originally would have washed the hair first, but he wasn't sure about how much he wanted to take off, so I was like, alright, but we could do it towards the end. So as I'm washing, I'm staying away from the hairline area where I applied the color, and that's because I want to allow it to dry a little bit better first. And now I'm going to use my diffuser just to dry the curls back up, get it to its natural state. But as you guys saw in the beginning, my man came in looking super rough, but we went ahead and got him together with the nice low taper, beard lineup, the nice shape up on top. But again, family, I want to thank you for watching this video, and if it helped you in any way, shape, or form, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, and while you're at it, drop a comment down below. It really helps the channel. Again, I just want to thank you guys for watching this video. I will catch y'all next time.